They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce,
But not you, man.
but they can't control me. You
Not
see, it
you.
ain't no name I won't name. It's up.
In a way, it sort of seems like, you know, they're trying to minimalize it to just gang.
Ye has never been the type to hold back. He lobs bombs straight into the music game, and this time he dropped one that sent shockwaves through hip-hop history. In one of his boldest and most unsettling claims yet, Ye suggested that Diddy and Jay-Z weren't just players in rap beef, they might have had a chilling role in Tupac Shakur's tragic end. He didn't frame it as another East Coast versus West Coast clash. He painted it as something way darker, almost ritualistic.
If we get to the bottom of Tupac's when that is finally revealed, 15 other will be revealed with it. And you will find that they were all committed by the same two people, father and son.
According to Ye, Pac's death wasn't about street rivalry at all, but a so-called price that had to be paid so Jay-Z could step into the inner circle of Hollywood's elite power club. The idea that one of rap's most legendary icons was sacrificed just so another could rise higher is enough to make anyone stop scrolling in shock. Is Ye really pulling back the curtain on a hidden initiation? Or is this another raw, chaotic outburst from a man who thrives on blurring the line between brilliance and madness? When Ye speaks, the whole world stops to listen, even when half of us wonder if we should.
I felt like, you know, they had like, you know, a whole lot of potential. Jay was more quiet. But I mean, I learned that Jay was being quiet because he was taking notes. He was taking notes, observing everything, taking it all in. You know, because, you know, sometimes you're around and you're watching to see things to do.
He's unpredictable. One day he's blasting corporations for being puppeteers. The next, he's dropping cryptic warnings about shadowy forces that control the lives of celebrities. Ye swears he's untouchable, saying, "I never ended nobody, so I can say whatever I want and not go to jail." That's the twisted badge of credibility he flashes, painting himself as both prophet and outcast. It leaves everyone asking, is this one of those rare times when the so-called black sheep of the industry is spilling a truth too dangerous for anyone else to say? Or is Ye just spiraling again, spinning wild conspiracies that sound more like confessions than warnings? The timing makes it even wilder. After years of brutal feuds, Ye has suddenly been playful with Jay-Z on social media, like none of it ever happened. But fans remember the history, the fallout after Beyonce and Jay skipped his wedding to Kim Kardashian.
It's so complicated, convoluted, chaotic. It's hard to actually figure out what's what, but it's becoming clearer.
The sting when Jay chose Kendrick Lamar over Ye for the Super Bowl halftime spotlight. And those vicious rants where Ye dragged Jay and Beyonce's kids into the mess of his words. This isn't just drama, it's unfinished business dressed up as reconciliation. And now, out of nowhere, Ye is back, lurking in Jay-Z's online world, dropping likes, leaving comments, sliding right back into Jay's digital orbit. But what's really going on here? Is Ye trying to patch up old wounds, or is this a setup, baiting Jay into the spotlight so he can drag him deeper into the stormy conversation about Tupac Shakur's shocking end? The whole thing feels staged, like a Hollywood play acted out in plain sight. Ye has always been obsessed with the idea of secret rituals running the industry, whispering that the bright lights hide a darker system built on sacrifices and blood oaths. To him, Jay-Z and Diddy's rise to the top wasn't just hustle or genius, it was deals cut in the shadows with lives on the line.
Weirdo. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever.
For most, it would sound like the plot of a cheap thriller, but when Ye says it, echoing decades of suspicions, it hits different. And here's where it gets even more chilling. Former investigators have long claimed whispers about Diddy allegedly putting $1 million hit on Shakur. Insiders like Dwayne Keith Davis swore he was the one pulling strings that fatal night in Vegas, and one retired detective even admitted he pressured Keith D into confessing the whole plot. pointing straight at Diddy as the man who commissioned it. And it doesn't stop there. In recent years, federal agents have stormed Diddy's lavish mansions, with lawsuits painting him as the music industry's twisted version of an Epstein, surrounded by insiders who allegedly set the stage for wild, secretive parties. Each raid drags his past right back under the spotlight, and every new shadow sparks fresh life into those old Shakur theories. If Diddy really had the kind of power to greenlight a hit,
Boy, Puffy called me though. Puffy called me back in the day. He called me, he was like, I just want you to know I ain't have nothing to do with your brother's,
then Ye's shocking claim that Jay-Z not only knew but may have benefited from it as part of his own climb suddenly feels way more sinister. Were these two men climbing the ladder together, bound not by champagne toasts at billionaire brunches, but by something darker, something sealed in silence? What makes Ye's voice so dangerous is that he doesn't hold back ever. One moment he's screaming that celebrities are nothing more than puppets on strings. The next, he's confessing that even his own mother was sacrificed just to keep him under control. When Ye talks, it cuts deep because he's willing to say the very things no one else dares to whisper.
I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their brand.
And then Ye goes even further, dropping names with zero hesitation. LeBron James, Beyonce, Jay-Z, he swears they're all chained to invisible masters pulling the strings. He might sound unhinged to some, but he says it with the conviction of a man who believes he survived that same sinister system himself. And when he drags Tupac Shakur's name into that web, when he hints that the ultimate rap legend was the ultimate sacrifice, the industry can't just laugh it off anymore. Pac's murder has always been clouded by rumors and rival theories, but Ye takes it further, suggesting it wasn't just another tragedy. It was the key that unlocked someone else's throne. That kind of claim doesn't just stir debate, it raises the stakes in ways nobody else dares to touch. And here's the twisted paradox. On one hand, Ye has posted apologies, admitting he regrets lashing out at Jay-Z's family and confessing that deep down, he always wanted to feel like part of Hov's inner circle. But on the other hand, he's painting Jay as a man who climbed to the very top by stepping over blood. It's like Ye himself is split, yearning for brotherhood with the same man he accuses of walking through shadows to claim the crown. Ye frames it all like part of a sinister pact.
Yeah, and you know, the thing about the kids at some point here, and not for the younger ones, it's at some point. For North, it's right now. Right? That even if she doesn't see it, even if somehow Kim is able to keep that away from her, the kids that her friends at school, they're gonna know about it, they're gonna see it, and it puts the kids in a horrible situation.
And that's where the real question hits. Is he reaching for reconciliation or setting up the stage for an even darker bombshell? He lives in contradiction, but even for him, the emotional flip-flop is wild. And so we circle back to the burning thought. If even a fraction of what Ye is saying is true, what does that mean for hip-hop's foundation as we know it? What does it mean for Jay-Z's legacy? The man who's become the blueprint for empire, longevity, and success that stretches way beyond music. If Tupac's last night was part of some twisted initiation, then who else in Hollywood walked through that same cursed door? And how many more secrets are still locked away, waiting for someone reckless enough or bold enough to finally speak them into the light? And just when the drama couldn't get darker, reality caught up. The tension between Ye, Jay-Z, and Diddy was already playing out like a Greek tragedy in the hip-hop arena, but then federal agents stormed Diddy's mansions. What started as Ye's shocking accusations of exploitation and control has now spiraled into full-blown investigations, dragging whispers into hard evidence and shaking the industry like never before. Whispers are flying that federal agents uncovered a hidden vault, an underground archive packed with tapes, documents, and evidence that could not only bury Diddy in his current scandals, but possibly link him all the way back to the chaos of the 1990s.
There are people who did short sales on their stocks right after that, made a lot of money, including Sean Carter, now I'm going to ask you, why would non-disclosure agreements need to be signed for an accident?
One former investigator even hinted the raids weren't just about today's accusations. They might have been digging for buried secrets tied directly to Tupac Shakur's last night in Vegas. Just imagine it. A locked room filled with tapes guarded for decades, holding proof that could connect today's headlines to the most infamous case in hip-hop history. The thought alone is chilling, because for years, Diddy has been portrayed as the untouchable mastermind, the man who stayed spotless while everyone around him took the fall. But if that vault is real, and if it holds the kind of evidence people are whispering about, then the narrative flips completely. It wouldn't just stain his empire, it could rewrite everything we thought we knew about the darkest chapter in rap. If that vault is real, it could tear Diddy's empire down brick by brick. Picture investigators not only leaking wild party footage, but also uncovering records, payoffs, secret orders, maybe even conversations about that alleged $1 million bounty. That wouldn't just end Diddy's career, it would shatter the entire mythology of hip-hop's golden era. And in the middle of all this stands Ye, pointing fingers, daring to shout the very things others only whisper. The fire gets even hotter because insiders are already comparing Diddy's mess to the darkest scandals of the last decade, dropping names like Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell as chilling parallels.
She was unconscious. She didn't choose to get on that plane. There were phone calls made. There are witnesses who signed NDAs.
Former staffers claim there were girls too young at his events, while others describe forced indulgences, with lawsuit after lawsuit painting his inner circle as full-blown enablers. In a storm like this, is it any wonder why Ye's wild theories about sacrifices and Hollywood rituals actually hit with some people? Because to him, none of it is random. It's all part of a sinister pattern. A world where the powerful demand silence and the only price of entry is loyalty sealed in blood and tragedy. This is where Ye's own unraveling crashes headfirst into the story. We've watched him go nuclear on Jay-Z's family, then spin back with regrets. He's accused his ex, Kim Kardashian, of weaponizing their kids, vowed never to speak to her again, only to leak their text exchanges days later. It paints the portrait of a man who can't separate private heartbreak from his public crusades. Ye swears celebrities are puppets, insists his mother was sacrificed, and claims Hollywood feeds off trauma. Many call it paranoia, but others whisper that maybe his obsession is rooted in truths too disturbing to face.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling.
When he declares that Jay-Z's career was baptized in Pac's blood, it sounds insane, until those federal raids on Diddy's mansions make the line between wild conspiracy and chilling possibility blur in real time. And then comes the darker rumor that's haunted Ye for years, that Tupac wasn't the only sacrifice. He believes the machine runs on an ongoing chain of losses, consuming lives to keep power locked in place. In interviews, he's rattled off names: Michael Jordan's father, Dr., Dre's son, Bill Cosby's son, as if Hollywood keeps a running tally of tragedies. Whether people believe him or not, one thing is clear. Ye isn't just pointing at random shadows. He's painting a pattern that makes the whole industry look cursed. Ye is consumed by the belief that he's trapped inside a machine built to silence rebels and reward only the obedient. If he's right, then the music game isn't just about talent. It's about blood, power, and survival at the highest cost. But if he's wrong, then we're witnessing one of the most public and disturbing descents into obsession the industry has ever seen. And Ye doesn't stop at Tupac. He's long drawn chilling parallels to the shocking plane crash that took Aaliyah's life at just 22, right as she was exploding in both music and film. For conspiracy watchers, the timing looked far too convenient. Aaliyah was tied deeply to the Rockefeller circle through her relationship with Damon Dash, Jay-Z's business partner and rival. When her light was suddenly extinguished, whispers spread like wildfire that her absence cleared the runway for Beyoncé's meteoric rise. To Yeah, Aaliyah's passing wasn't just a tragic accident. It was another piece in the same sinister puzzle. A grim exchange of lives for power, the same cycle of sacrifice he claims has always run beneath Hollywood's glittering surface. And whether people dismiss him or not, the question lingers, what if even a sliver of it is true? Aaliyah's story has all the haunting ingredients: youth, promise, and a sudden loss that struck right when her career was about to reshape both R&B and film forever. The plane was overloaded, the pilot was unlicensed, and reports later claimed she didn't even want to step on that flight in the first place.
Let's talk about it, man. So you feel like it was bigger than Orlando Tupac. You feel like it's more to the story. You don't think it was that simple?
I feel like it's big.
For Ye's followers, the circumstances play out like a chilling script. A star burning too bright, a last-minute twist sealing her fate, and a trail of unanswered questions left behind. The deeper you dig, the harder it is to separate Aaliyah's tragedy from the idea of Hollywood sacrifices, an invisible currency traded in blood to unlock new doors for others to rise. And then comes Michael Jackson, the ultimate example Ye points to when he talks about how the powerful silence rebels who refuse to bow down. Jackson spent decades redefining music, stacking fortunes, and building influence that stretched across the globe. But by the end of his life, he wasn't just fighting the industry. He was drowning in scandals and accusations designed to shatter his image and bury his legacy. To Ye, Jackson's downfall wasn't random. It was punishment for refusing to play by the hidden rules of power. Michael Jackson's sudden death in 2009 sent shockwaves around the world. But for Ye, it was more than tragedy. It was evidence. Proof of a system that even its brightest icons couldn't outrun once they became inconvenient. Jackson had spoken openly about conspiracies, contracts he couldn't break, and powerful forces trying to rip away his music catalog. To Ye, it all connects. The same hands that ended Shakur's life, the same fate that stole Aaliyah, were also behind the final days of the King of Pop. And here's the chilling thread tying it all together. None of these legends bowed out gracefully or enjoyed quiet retirements. Their stories ended in abrupt, violent collapses that changed pop culture forever. Shakur gunned down in a bullet-riddled BMW on the Vegas Strip. Aaliyah's plane, a smoking wreck in the Bahamas. Michael Jackson's body found lifeless in LA, just as he was preparing for a comeback that could have rewritten history. Each moment shocked the globe, but each also carried whispers of negligence, shady cover-ups, or deliberate silencing. To Ye's followers, these aren't coincidences. They're the fingerprints of a hidden order, an underground machine that balances its books, not with money, but with lives. At the core of Ye's obsession is his belief that nothing in the industry happens by chance. Control is everything.
And we do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you. It was being reported by TMZ and now Fox News. We are learning that Jay-Z is accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. That is new in the Diddy lawsuit.
He swears celebrities aren't free agents, but pawns on a board where victories are scripted, failures are engineered, and exits are predetermined. Shakur's defiance, Aaliyah's independence, and Jackson's refusal to hand over his catalog, all, Ye insists, were challenges to the machine. And each one of them, he claims, paid the ultimate price for resisting it. Whether or not the evidence would ever hold up in court, the parallels are haunting enough to keep these theories alive. And the darkest part isn't just about those we lost, it's about what it means for the ones still standing. If Shakur's death unlocked doors for Jay-Z, if Aaliyah's absence cleared the runway for Beyoncé, if Jackson's catalog battle ultimately fattened the pockets of industry giants, then we're staring at a chilling pattern where success is never innocent. It paints a world where every chart-topping hit, every sold-out stadium might carry invisible costs, paid not by the star shining on stage, but by someone else's blood in the shadows. For yeah, this isn't wild speculation. It's why he calls himself the Black Sheep, cast out by an industry he swears is still playing the game with rules written in tragedy. And so the question won't go away. Are these high-profile tragedies pieces of a larger system of sacrifice? Or is Ye twisting grief, betrayal, and suspicion into a grand conspiracy only he can see? That uncertainty is exactly what makes his words impossible to ignore. Every time a new scandal breaks, every time another powerful name gets dragged into the spotlight, the web feels tighter, the coincidences harder to dismiss, and the glitter of Hollywood looks a little more like smoke-hiding shadows. That's what makes this moment so dangerous. Ye isn't just another loud voice, he's both witness and warning. He's got access, he's got memories, and most of all, he's got nothing left to lose. His career has already crashed through brand collapses, his words have already cost him fortunes, and yet he won't stop talking. So the tension builds. Are we watching Ye lay the groundwork for the biggest Hollywood exposure of all time? Or are we watching him spiral into a lonely descent that ends with him completely cut off from everyone he once called family? Either way, his story is forcing us to stare into the shadows of an industry built on glamour and wonder what's really buried beneath the shine. The stakes couldn't be higher. For Ye, for Jay-Z, for Diddy, and for the legacy of Tupac Shakur. So here's the haunting question. What happens if that vault is real? What if West's wildest accusations suddenly find support in court documents or seized footage? The ripple effect wouldn't just be big, it would be seismic. It could force the world to reevaluate not only how Shakur's story ended, but how much of hip-hop's history was built on secrets we were never meant to uncover. For fans who grew up idolizing these men, the fallout would feel like betrayal on a level no chart-topping anthem could ever erase. And so we circle back to the same burning question. Has Ye been pulling back the curtain on Hollywood's darkest truths all along? Or are we simply watching the most dramatic public meltdown the industry has ever seen? Either way, when the truth finally comes out, it has the power to shatter everything we thought we knew about music, power, and fame. So what do you think? Is Ye really exposing the unthinkable, or is he drowning in his own obsession? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss the next deep dive. See you on the next one.